33 years of marriage, wife no abuse, just unmotivated and lazy. Has anyone succumbed to this long-term crippling lifestyle? I've read a lot of similar cases online. But I can't find a single person that can relate to this exact situation with me and my wife of 32 years. We have 3 children, 32, not at home and married, 17 at home with the label intellectually disabled due to a processing speech disorder, and a 14-year-old that's quite normal in most aspects. I have been the sole provider of everything you can ask me about. Bills, shopping, cooking, working, washing clothes, taking her SUV for an oil change, putting gas in the SUV, setting up everyone's cell phones, fixing PC or network issues, and driving anywhere that's not the school. She literally deflects anything the kids ask her, i.e. can we go look for Halloween decorations? She'll respond, well, what do you want to get? Where do you want to go? I need to check and see if dad has enough money, plus it's the afternoon, it might be busy and crazy out. Or she pretend panics like I don't know. I'm just trying to get these dishes done so I don't come home to a mess later. Of course, based on my initial statement, that's not the issue because she doesn't do dishes but once every 2 to 3 days at best, and it's usually just enough to give me the pans I need to keep in that night. Let's clarify some other possible issues/questions. I have never hit or emotionally abused her. I have literally sat and had her yank headphones off of my head just to ask/yell a question. Now, I'm not saying she's a reality/drama TV type. She just gets so involved in her own negativity that eventually she starts talking to me and the kids like we're prisoners at a war camp. Years ago I let this fly secretly and just would spend time at co-workers' houses to avoid the negative conflict. But we've been married going on 33 years and our lifestyle is just garbage. 2 kids are in high school, and I can't resolve negative issues faster than she complains about them, and although over the last 13 to 14 years I finally started fighting back and telling her what my side of the story is, she cries and asks what can I do to make you not feel that way. So I tell her any for one day she'll wash dishes all up, or try to cook dinner, but in the end she always says, well, I would, but your dad knows how to do it better than me, or something similar. I don't want anyone to think she's domineering, that's not the case. But she loves to see the bad side of every single thing in life but refuses to take part in the solution. She says she's scared to drive in traffic, she refuses to make friends. I have no friends, due to her negativity. The last part-time job she had, she literally come home crying every day but walked in the door asking me, so what all did you get done today? I've never asked her that, or expected a result. You would think just being a mom at home, if you don't want to work or drive, you dust or wash clothes sometimes. She literally wears pajamas all day every day, and if she puts on anything because she has to, oftentimes it still has tags on it because I am always buying her and the kids new stuff while I am out just because. But she's got thousands of dollars of chiropractic stuff, clothes, shoes, anything you can imagine that she asked for but just simply don't appreciate. I am at an age that I can't do this anymore. There's no violence, drug, or alcohol abuse in this relationship, but our lives, are past the good old days. I just wish I knew a way to get her to thinking positive like I do and motivated so we can all live better lives. Irrelevant comments unwelcome. I seriously want to know if anyone has been or is in a similar situation. Comment. You won't find many in a similar situation, as most don't have the patience to live that type of life for so long. Either counseling is mandatory or separating is. Negativity breeds negativity. A friendless, negative life with no outlet is no type of long-term life, definitely for you and likely for your kids. Are you and the children better off by being together? She doesn't work, lives in her PJS, doesn't do much but complain, and is generally unhappy. If you've mentioned one redeeming factor in this wall of text, I missed it. Get out of the house. Do things with your kids. Rekindle or make new friendships. Seek counseling, together and/or apart. Start to wean yourself off this merry-go-round. Firstly, I want to say you're a good man, and your family and wife especially are lucky to have you in their lives. So many women dream of having a spouse that does half as much as you do. From your title, my first thought was mood changes/depression brought on by possible menopause. But from the rest of the post, this seems like an issue that's been around since forever. Has she ever been tested or treated for depression before? Your wife needs therapy. This is not normal behavior and there is something underlying causing it. Possibly marriage counseling too for both of you. This surely has put a strain on your relationship, and talking things out with her about how her behavior over the years has affected you with a counselor is, I think, the only way to move forward. If she still refuses to seek help, change, or see things from your perspective, I'm not sure there is much of the relationship worth salvaging, unfortunately. Your wife isn't going to change, but you don't have to spend the rest of your life with her. I divorced after 28 years of marriage. Give yourself a chance to find happiness with someone else. You're just going through the motions of life now. Don't you want to live, find joy, be passionate? If you do, then leave your wife and go for it. I also think there might be some kind of mental thing going on here, depression, anxiety, could be anything. I think if that's the case, what more can you do for someone who doesn't even want to admit there is a problem and seek help for it? Must you continue to live miserably because she refuses to better herself? You need to sit down with her and tell her that things needs to change. You can't keep living this way. I am in a similar boat as you, except mine does work. But we've gone back and forth on it and had couples counseling, which almost immediately became a recommendation for her to have individual therapy. Unfortunately, the therapy isn't working despite trying 3 different therapists over 18 months because she literally has no concept of self-reflection or accountability and comes home from every session saying, I don't understand what they want me to do, why don't they just tell me what to think and I'll think it? They keep asking me what I want like I'm supposed to know, so I just make up stuff to get them to stop asking. Hearing that is super frustrating to me. I really don't know what you do other than leave in a few years when your kids are out of the house. Mine are younger, so I've got 10 years to go for that, and I honestly can't divorce and risk her getting primary custody. My state family courts are super slanted towards the mother, or subject them to spending half their time without me there because she would ruin the kids with her clingy negativity. PM me if you need to talk/commiserate, but I'm not really sure there's a solution to fixing someone else who doesn't even agree that there's a problem, much less want to fix it. Next story 2. I burned another bridge after promising myself I wouldn't. A bit about my past. I have a history of burning bridges. It's something I am probably most ashamed of in my life. The amount of friendship, jobs, potential relationships I have ruined by overreacting over something then burning the bridge, it's sickening. I think I have anxious and avoidant attachment, abandonment issues, and maybe BPD. Therapy is something I would really love to do but don't have the money right now. It's not an option at this current moment. I am very self-aware and can recognize a lot of my faults. I am writing this post because right now currently I am experiencing one of the worst episodes of my life. I have burnt my very last bridge with someone who I'm not sure deserved it and can't help but feel so much guilt. I also just quit both of my jobs without warning and it is an experiencing shame and embarrassment, rightfully so. The thing is that I can recognize how immature it is for me to burn bridges, but I feel like I just can't help it sometimes. Current situation: if you are interested in the backstory. Back in July someone from my past reached out to me. He was a guy I met a couple years back and had a connection with. We stopped talking because I found out he was entertaining me and another girl at once. He took her on a trip for New Year's and was messaging me the same night saying he wished he was with me and he was with his friends, so yeah, he was a liar to say the least. After I cut him off I found out he was now officially dating this girl. He also messaged me and lied about dating her, to which he finally confessed to. I blocked him and time went on. About a year and a half passes and that is when he reaches out to me in July, basically confessing his strong feelings for me and how he tried to make them go away but they didn't, and he wanted to let me know and potentially see me again. I was very unsure of this obviously and told him that he needs to figure things out with his girlfriend and to not contact me again until he is sure that this is what he wants, and then I will decide if we should see each other. Couple weeks pass and he is messaging me, saying he ended things with her right away but took a couple weeks to message me again. At this point a lot of people would still never take back a guy who has clearly lied in the past and doesn't have the best track record, but the way he was expressing how I was on his mind all day for the last 8 months and has been imaging me in his life, I couldn't help but give it a chance. Maybe this could be real love? The one thing he made clear though was that he would want to take it slow and he can't just hop back into another relationship. Me and him started seeing each other every couple days, going on dates, his cottage, meeting his friends. He would call me every day and text me all day. Initially he was the anxious one, texting me all the time, worrying about when I went out with my friends, always saying how amazing I am and how we both deserve to be happy finally in our life and we are what makes each other happy. The tables turned though. After we started getting closer, I grew anxious and started looking for things to be upset about. I called him out for following this girl who I thought was his ex-girlfriend. It turned out to be his friend's current fiancée. Yikes. I started acting weird towards him when I noticed he was active on social media and not I responding. And you would think all of these dumb things would push him away, but it didn't. He stuck by me and comforted me and was really sweet. He would insist that he wants me in his life and I have absolutely nothing to worry about when it comes to us. But as time went on I noticed me started to feel more and more pressured. He kept bringing up how he isn't ready to date and he feels like I'm too emotional all the time and it's causing this relationship to deteriorate before it can even start basically. This was not healthy for either of us. We both mutually decided to take a break and not speak for a couple days. This was emotional for both of us and he expressed his fear of losing me for good and what is I fall in love with someone else. But I was so upset he still was unsure of what he wanted, so I made it clear we needed to take a couple days, but then a break turned in a week. And it really started to feel like we were just over. I reached out to him after that week and expressed how I completely understand how much pressure I put on the relationship and how I am embarrassed and disappointed I acted out the way I did. I expressed how much I respect him and care for him and wish him all the best. And I was sorry it didn't go the way we hoped. He responded and was very kind and expressed how he did want it to work out, but he would tell it wasn't working and not the right time for us, but he still really likes me and wish me the best as well. A week passed and I started to feel differently. This is when my toxic behavior started to arise. He liked my Instagram story and it triggered something in me. Suddenly I didn't care about protecting his feelings or being understanding. Suddenly I feel like he is the most selfish person in the world. How dare you come into my life again after already screwing me over the first time? Is it because I was younger than you, naive? Was it because all you wanted was my body and my looks and once you had that you realized I once again wasn't what you wanted? These were the thoughts that went through my head. It was taking every bone in my to not send him a message expressing how selfish he was and how it truly feels like he used me and I don't see him in the good light I once did. I see him and I feel sick. I feel sick for trusting him, and I feel sick that he disposed of me so easily, only for him to say he still likes me and is liking my Instagram story. I'm hurting so bad. So I messaged him and I said everything I could think of. You can tell he was hurt. He was saying how mean I was being and how he truly thought we would work out, but it hurt him too that we couldn't. He was saying I didn't use you, I really did like you. A part of me can recognize he is human and we all make mistakes. Another part of me looks at him and thinks you are 26 years old, you know you weren't ready for a relationship and still went out of your way to get a hold of me, and on top of that, you literally thought about me for months while with another woman. Is he just a bad person? It honestly felt good for a couple days after I messaged him, but now I feel horrible. I feel like it says so much more about me as a person than it does for him. I'm lost and a sad girl. He can see that. He probably doesn't even hate me, he probably feels bad for me, which is worse. I still love him so much. I know I pushed him away and absolutely burnt this bridge down to the ground. How do I recover? How do I forgive myself? Can he ever forgive me? Is this truly who I am? Comment. There are sites like Talkspace that offer pay-per-session and trial options. It's interesting that you don't appreciate comments like this when you literally asked how do I recover? That's how. Your thread was screaming I need to get some help, whether you believe so or not. Sweetheart, being an ass would have been telling you just how crazy you sound in the post. Typing go to therapy in all caps isn't yelling there is no sound through a screen. You're taking your frustration out on me in defense instead of considering maybe your extreme emotional reactiveness should be addressed by a professional. You highlighted several instances in the paragraphs showing seriously concerning lack of control with emotions and finished it off saying you love the guy a lot and wanted advice. Now you wanna be rude and curse at someone for telling you the truth. You need therapy, therapy, therapy. You don't have to appreciate shit, EOD, you're the one in this situation. Therapy could be your solution. Certainly calling strangers names on the internet is not. I think this particular bridge needed burning. He loves you so much he dated someone else for a year and a half. Your instincts were spot on with this one. He used you, then he used her, then he was trying to use you again. Don't let him. He is the only reason you guys weren't together. He could have prioritized you at any point, but he didn't bother.